In the first part of this video, Finn finds out about the sealed power in his body. Aside from this, he also brought back memories of his previous life and how important Gale was in his life. One day, while Finn and Suji were together, Gale met them on the road. She told Finn that Ian wanted to talk to him. Finn remembered that it was the man that Gale had introduced to him the other day, so he asked her what Ian wanted from him. Gale told him that it was about his training. When they went to the student council office, Ian told them that he suspected that Finn was possibly the one who currently possessed the Eye of Yong, so Finn immediately asked what it was. Through the water from the glass that Ian spilled on the floor, he explained Finn's current situation. He added that when he released his power twice, it was already enough to expose his true identity, and surely, many Yaogwai would be after him. Because of this, there were two missions that the Taoist sect needed to do. First was to protect him, which was Gale's current mission, and second was to teach him to use magic, which was Ian's job, so that Finn would also learn how to protect himself. Then Ian sent Gale to Shiba, so that she could rest and recover completely. After she came out of the room, Ian gave Finn his reward. It turned out to be a meal card from Mr. Fat's restaurant with an equivalent amount of the first reward that he received. Because of this, he regretted a lot because he had used up his money to treat his friends. It was the moment when he learned that the Taoist sect was behind in making him the hero during the fire. Ian took him to a place which was also a territory of the Taoist sect, and because of the barrier surrounding the place, he assured Finn that no Yaogwai could enter the area. At first, he showed what he was going to teach Finn, and it was called magic refinement. Using only a leaf from a grass, he was able to cut down the wood. Ian told Finn that he needed to learn magic refinement first, before learning how to handle a magic weapon. He also explained more about magic refinement, but Finn barely understood anything he said. While they're busy, they had no idea that Suji had entered their territory. As Finn started studying the magic refinement, Suji suddenly appeared to him. He was surprised that Suji got in there even though she was a Yaogwai, so Suji told him that she was not just an ordinary Yaogwai. When she noticed what Finn was doing to the leaf, she also tried it, and Suji was able to do it easily. Then she told Finn that she could teach him what he wanted to learn. So Finn did not even think twice, and immediately agreed to let her teach him magic refinement. Suji held his hand and told him what he should do. After that, he felt as if there was an energy coming from Suji's palms and was passed into his body. It spreaded throughout his body, and he seemed to feel its center as well. After what Suji did, his confidence increased that he could do the magic refinement. When he tried the technique, he was able to do it right away. But because he could not control the strength of his power, the leaf exploded. What he needed now was to study how he could use his magic properly. Before Suji left, he told her that he wanted to treat her to a meal for her effort in teaching him. Meanwhile, Gale was not far away from them and she had heard their conversation. Finn continued to practice, but he still could not control his power and blew up the leaves over again. In his frustration, he accidentally used all the magic refinement on the grass, and it all exploded. While Ian was watching him, he felt Suji's presence in his room. Suji did not agree with what Ian was teaching Finn, because he was teaching him refinement magic even though Finn was just a newbie, and it seemed like they have not yet finished in their test to see if Finn really had the Eye of Yong. Ian clarified to her that refinement magic was one of the abilities of a successor of the Eye of Yong, and it was the best thing for Finn to learn right away if he did possess it. But Suji got angry and told Ian that she did not care whether Finn had it or not, because she just wanted him to be happy. By late afternoon, Finn had not yet perfected the refinement magic. While he was on his way home, he called Suji to invite her to dinner. But he suddenly saw a green wave above Mr. Fat's restaurant. So when he and Suji met, he mentioned to her about this. Then Suji explained that it was called a decaying field or a small-scale magic field. This was a type of magic that accelerates the decay of food inside, but maintains the freshness outside of it. Suji suddenly felt that it had become active, so Finn thought that their food would spoil immediately, but she told him not to worry because it would take a few more days before it started to take effect. After the waiter placed their order on the table, they remembered that he was the caretaker at the inn. He blamed Finn for losing his job, and Finn also noticed the deer beside the man. He then found out that this was the manager who had returned to his original form. The next morning, Gale brought Finn his breakfast, so his friends left the room immediately. Gail found out that Finn had plans to meet with Ian in the afternoon, so she also decided to go with him. After their class and when they were about to eat, his friends decided to eat at another restaurant because they did not like the taste of the food at Mr. Fat's restaurant. But since Finn only had a meal card from Mr. Fat's restaurant, he was forced to eat there. That was the time when he also tasted how bad the food that was served to him. After he finished eating, they met up with Ian, then he noticed many decaying fields around them. Gail found out that Finn could see them even though he was not using glasses, so Ian said that it was the result of his training. They intend to immediately fix the problem with the decaying field, and they plan to use the purification field. They also needed to set up the arcane eye in the four corners of the school, and they would do it after the second day. To test Finn's ability, they also wanted him to join this mission. Since they still lacked one member, Finn told them to include Suji in the mission as well, and his suggestion was accepted by Ian. When Finn returned to their dorm, he found his friends who were constantly experiencing stomach pains because of the food they ate. He immediately went to the clinic to ask for medicine for his friends. He saw the school doctor in the clinic, and it turned out to be Lisa, who also recognized him immediately. He was given the medicine he needed, and before he left, she made him swallow dragon tear to prevent from having stomach ache too. The next day, after repeatedly practicing refinement magic, he successfully did it, without making the leaf explode. After that, the four of them met to plan carefully the purification field that they would create. When the day came for them to do it, they quickly found the four channels. But the Yaogwai who placed the decaying field immediately sensed that someone was trying to remove it. As they were starting the purification field, Finn blew up the talisman that he had placed on his corner. Because of this, Gail made Finn open the Taoist talisman app. It was created by the Taoist sect, and there was a thunder god talisman in it. Finn did not expect that he would have to pay before he could use it. But he had no other choice but use his savings so they could carry on the mission. When he was about to pay on the app, Suji and the others felt that a Yaogwai was approaching. They noticed that it was heading to Finn's location, so Suji quickly left her place to go to Finn. When the Yaogwai arrived at Finn's location, he immediately recognized him as the owner of Mr. Fat's restaurant. After a while, he saw its true form, and it turned out to be a poisonous mushroom spirit. He also found out that he was the one who put the decaying field in different restaurants, and his friends got the effect of food poisoning after they ate at other restaurants. He did not notice that he had increased the number of talismans that he would buy in the app. When he attacked, Finn was able to block it, but he was thrown back by the force of the enemy's strong punch. He grabbed Finn to force him to eat the poisonous mushroom, but a man came and stopped him. The two of them fought, and using the man's thundercloud pearl, he immediately defeated the mushroom spirit. Then he approached Finn and helped him get up. When Suji came there, this man quickly hid. They started the purification field again, and when Finn saw the paid talisman in the app, he was shocked that he paid 99 talismans in all. He tried to cancel it, but the app would not allow him. So he decided to use it all, causing Mr. Fat's restaurant, which was just right next to him, to explode. They successfully performed the purification field, and removed all the decaying fields from all the restaurants and food stalls in the area. After that, Suji and Gail quickly went to Finn to check on his condition. The mushroom spirit rose again and was about to attack Finn, but Suji and Gail immediately blocked him. Ian came there to negotiate with the mushroom spirit and make him change his mind. Because of this, they were able to solve the problem. While they were on their way home, Finn accidentally dropped his cell phone and was surprised by the force of its impact. Ian immediately thought that Finn might have used refinement magic even on his cell phone. A few moments later, just like what happened to the leaf, the cell phone also turned to ashes. After that, Ian visited Shiba to give a report based on what he observed on Finn. Due to Finn's ability in using 99 talismans at the same time, Ian could say that there was a 90% probability that Finn indeed possessed the Eye of Yong. Shiba told him to just continue their observation on Finn, because they also noticed the activation of the Eye of Yong. One day, while they were together at the diner, Ian and Gail were laughing about Finn's broken cell phone, because they saw the type of cell phone that he bought as a replacement. Finn thanked Ian because he thought that the Taoist sect had arranged again the payments after the explosion that happened in Mr. Fat's restaurant. But he was shocked that the Taoist sect would only pay half of the compensation, and he would still pay the other half of it. After Finn saw the value that needed to be paid, he lost the will to live anymore. They knew that Finn would react like this, so they prepared another contract. This contract was effective while he was still studying at the university, and it would last for 4 years. Ian told Finn that he just needed to be a part-time disciple of the Taoist sect and join the missions which would be assigned to him. Because of this, he would receive a reward from the missions, and Gale added that there was also a fixed basic salary included in the contract. 60% of what he could earn would go to the compensation, while 30% was the payment for his training, and remaining 10% would be given to him. A few moments later, they saw the demolition of their school on the news, because it would be moved to Kaifa District University. Although Finn liked the said district university, Gale and Ian knew that moving there was not a good idea. It turned out that the agent and the person who wanted to buy the land were already arranging the necessary documents for this. This businessman was also a yaoguai, and it was the reason why Ian and Gale reacted that way. One day, while Finn and his friend were on the side of the road, Suji and Lisa passed by. It was the moment when Lisa was able to formally introduce herself to Finn. Suji informed Finn that she would be gone for 2 days, and warned him to be nice while she was away. Before they left, Finn mentioned to her the Taoist sex offer, and asked Suji if it was okay, since he remembered in his past life that Suji was the one who taught him. But Suji did not see any problem with this, and she also wanted Finn to live life based on what he believed. When Finn returned to the dorm, his friend showed him an app, called My Girlfriend, where there was an AI girl who looked like a real person, because she was natural when talking to the users. Finn intended to download this app as well, but his cell phone was no longer a smartphone. Even the man who helped Finn the other day, named Kenji, was also obsessed with this app. And his disciple, named Saburo, was trying to stop him from using it, because he knew that it was only absorbing his energy. Kenji already knew this, but he was complacent about how strong his vital energy was, compared to this woman who was also a type of yaoguai. Since there were so many users of this app, this yaoguai woman could feel that she was already full of energy. After a few hours of travel, Suji and Lisa finally arrived at their destination, and it was in a cave. Lisa gave Suji a jade crystal which would serve as Suji's signal to her in case something unexpected happened while she was inside the cave. Lisa would live in a nearby villa until Suji finished what she needed to do. The next day, Finn was surprised to find that Gale was in their room, and the breakfast was already prepared for him. It turned out that Gale was taking advantage of the opportunity to protect Finn all day, while his other friends were still at their house, and Suji was not there either. But one of Finn's friends, who was also in the room, pretended to be sleeping because he felt awkward around the two. He felt the urge to pee, and because he could not hold it anymore, he was forced to leave his bed and went out. After Finn had his breakfast, Ian and Gale took him to the headquarters of the Taoist sect for his medical examination. Finn thought that it was in the mountains, but he was surprised that it was in a huge building called the Donghua Pharmaceutical. The first thing that was done to him was to have his blood drawn, then Gale accompanied him for the CT scan. It turned out that they were going to use Finn's blood to get the data that they needed. After they examined it, they found out that the spiritual energy level in Finn's blood was very high, and Shiba was happy about it. Suddenly, a woman came there to show to them the results of Finn's complete body scan. They could see that the core of the energy center was indeed sealed in Finn's body. In addition to this, its energy had exceeded the highest level that their apparatus could read. Because of this, the woman was able to say that Finn was really the Eye of Yong. A few moments later, the school principal called Shiba to inform him of the notice that he had received about the school's demolition. When they got out of the building, Finn was told by Ian that they still needed to do something, and this was traditionally done on their new members. After Ian introduced Finn to the other members of the clan, he and Gale decided to leave immediately, saying that they still had something to investigate. And that was the moment when the other members started beating Finn. Shiba and the principal immediately met, and before they talked about why Shiba came, they discussed the results of the tests conducted on Finn, which they concluded that Finn possessed the Eye of Yong. After that, they also discussed the possible demolition of the school. The principal asked Shiba for a favor that if what he planned to do would not work, he wanted to join the bidding at Donghua Pharmaceutical. Shiba did not see any problem with the favor, so he agreed on the principal. The principal also mentioned that he wanted to introduce the daughter of one of his relatives, and hoping that Shiba would like to meet her, but Shiba just made an excuse that he had somewhere else to go. After Finn cleaned his face, his friend also came there with a swollen face. It turned out that he was also beaten because of selling discs. When they were about to sleep, Finn looked at his cell phone and was wondering because Suji had not texted him yet. He had no idea that Suji was about to complete what she was doing in the cave. On the other hand, Lisa was watching sad show to make herself cry. It turned out that her tears became the dragon tears, and she was selling them depending on their size. After watching the drama, she also saw on the news about the demolition of their school. The next day, Ian watched Finn on his training. Finn quickly learned how to fight and was able to use refinement magic properly using other weapons. By noon, Ian stopped the training, then he approached Finn to give him the food that Gale prepared, since she was away and currently investigating a mission. Ian just gave Finn a 20-minute break, and then he told Finn that he would be the one to teach him later. Meanwhile, the rest of Kenji's staff were also worried about his non-stop conversation with the yaoi girl on the app, but Kenji suddenly told them what he felt as an Eye of Yong. Then he showed his anger because of the way he reacted whenever he was in front of a woman. He knew that he was not good at talking to girls since he was young. But this woman was the only one who willingly listened and talked to him. This time, his disciples could not do anything to stop him. In their anger at the yaoi woman, they wanted to confront her, but the problem was that she did not have a physical body. But Saburo thought of a way to get them to her dimension. Meanwhile, after the break time that Ian gave to Finn, their training started again. When Finn saw an opportunity to attack, he used the magic refinement on his weapon, but Ian just easily dodged it. Because of this, he told Finn the things that he should remember, so that he would not just make strong attacks, which was the cause to lose his defense. Despite that, he still praised Finn for what he showed in their training. The yaoi girl was wondering about Ian's weird behavior, because he would not even use voice chat and just type words that he wanted to say. But she did not really pay attention to him, because there were many men who wanted to talk to her. After changing into her uniform, she suddenly thought about what was lacking on her and who she really was. Then he saw Kenji's disciples who were trying to enter her dimension. When they got in, she immediately asked them what they did to get in, and if there was a way for her to get out of there too. But she found out that they were angry at her, and accused her that she was seducing their boss. One of these men suddenly attacked her. But it had no effect on her because his body was still adjusting. She could not understand why they were accusing her of doing a bad thing, so they told her that she was absorbing their master's energy. She kept denying it, until one of the men got annoyed and slapped her. While Finn and others were eating, they discussed about Gale's investigation. It turned out that this was about the My Girlfriend app, because they received some news about the symptoms shown by the people who were using this app. Based on the symptoms, they found out 2 reasons why the users had this. First was the sudden drop of their sugar level, and the other was the loss of their vital energy. But there was a high possibility that this was due to the loss of their vital energy. Gale asked Finn to try this app, so that he could experience talking to the woman in it. But after the woman greeted him, the app suddenly started showing maintenance notice, and this made Gale wonder why. They had no idea that someone was currently attacking this woman in her dimension, but after Saburo's attack, it still did not have any effect on her. Saburo attacked her again, but it still did not work, and then she created a stage, as if she was going to perform. Saburo's companion could not stop being in awe of the woman's beauty, and this made Saburo worry. The woman announced to all the app users that she was going to have an online concert the next day. When Finn returned to the dorm to hopefully warn his friend about the app, his friend clearly showed that he already lost most of his energy. But because his friend was so excited about the upcoming online concert, Finn could not do anything to stop him from using the app. The next morning when Gale went to Finn's room to deliver his breakfast, they found out that his friend did not even sleep because he was so excited about the upcoming online concert. Finn wanted to approach him, but Gale stopped him because the yaoi woman in the app might notice him. Gale could see that a lot of vital energy had already been absorbed from his friend, and it was the first time that she had seen this kind of situation. She told Finn to go and see Ian at the student council office, while she would try to investigate the current situation regarding the use of the app. When Finn informed Ian of his friend's situation, Ian suspected that the woman might have increased the amount of vital energy that she needed to absorb to speed up her cultivation. He wanted to talk to her in person, because it would be better if they could stop it without the use of violence in a fight. But he decided to assign Finn in this mission, and Ian also prepared a smartphone for him to use. Ian reminded Finn that if the yaoguai tried to hurt him or do something which they were not expecting, Finn just had to throw the cell phone far away from him. When Finn started talking to the yaoguai woman, he directly told her that he knew her scheme already, and this made the woman on the app angry at him. Because of this, she accused Finn as one of Saburo's companions, and this information surprised Finn. The yaoguai suddenly absorbed his energy, so Ian took the cell phone from him and immediately threw it away and blew it up. Gale came there to inform Ian of the sudden increase in the number of affected people since the other night. Then they were surprised when Saburo suddenly came and told them about the possible reason why it happened. Together with one of his companion, they told them their experience after they entered into the dimension of the yaoguai woman. Only the two of them were able to get out of there, and they still did not know what happened to their other two companions. After hearing all of Saburo's words, Ian immediately thought that these men were the reason why the woman in the app was angry, and they no longer had the chance to resolve it in a simple conversation. Because of this, they would have to send a damage assessment report to their master, or the Eye of Yong. It was only here that Finn found out about the Eye of Yong, while Saburo and his companion were also shocked that Finn was the Eye of Yong. Since Finn did not know much about this yet, Gale explained it to him. Ian asked Saburo how they entered the yaoguai woman's dimension. But when Saburo showed what he did, they changed their mind and did not want to try it anymore. They just said that they would think of another way to enter. When Ian came up with a plan, he asked Gale about the exact time of the concert. On the other hand, after Suji finished her mission in the cave, she sent a signal to Lisa to pick her up. Before they left, Suji showed her the result of what she did. Then they went to Suji's house to take a rest. When they got home, Lisa gave her the energy center of a minor spirit who died in an accident. Lisa wanted her to use it so she could recover after losing some of her power. After they watched the news about the men who were taken to the hospital due to extreme weakness, Suji was immediately concerned regarding this issue. Because of this, she immediately decided to return to school. Meanwhile, Finn's parents called him to ask how he was doing because he was not texting them anymore. He found out that they had plans to visit him, and this made him worry because they would find out that the smartphone which they had bought for him was gone. When he entered the room, he saw his friends were ready for the upcoming online concert. Then he left there too, because he would meet with Ian and Gale to carry out their mission. When he arrived at the student council office, there was a large television screen in the room. Ian assigned Gale to stay behind, because she would serve as their support while they were inside. Before they entered, Gale gave each of them a talisman to stop the pain that they would feel for 2 hours. When Saburo used his power on them, they did not even feel anything from the electricity on their bodies. They successfully got inside the dimension and were able to talk to Gale as well. When the yaoguai appeared to the viewers, Gale immediately gave them her exact location. She was about to begin her presentation when the connection to the audience was suddenly cut off. Then the yaoguai woman was surprised by the talisman surrounding her. It was here that they appeared, and Ian informed her of what they had done to the entire dimension to cut her connection to the other world. A few moments later, Saburo's two companions who were left in the dimension appeared, and already became fans of yaoguai woman. Although Saburo was angry at them, he was still concerned, but he beat the two, and decided to send them back to the other world, because their real bodies might be in danger. Suddenly, the yaoguai woman removed the talismans around her, and released an intense power. Meanwhile, Suji learned from Shiba about Finn's current mission. Because of this, she was worried that Finn might not be back for 6 hours, and this would endanger his life. So she called Gale to find out where they were. Gale assured her that they would not let anything bad happen to Finn, and she was sure that Finn already knew what he was doing, so Suji had nothing to worry about. While Finn and Ian were still at the other dimension, they were confronted by 4 disciples of the yaoguai woman. They attacked at them at the same time, and while Finn and Ian were struggling to fight them, the yaoguai woman took action to restore her connection with her viewers. Gale immediately informed Ian that the yaoguai's server was being changed. Ian asked her to stop it, but she failed to do it. As soon as she got connected with all the viewers, the opponents of Finn and Ian suddenly disappeared. Because of the support from her viewers, she received a lot of energy. When one of Kenji's disciples saw him, he was already unconscious. This was immediately reported to Saburo, who had just woken up their 2 colleagues. They also found out about the sudden increase of men who lost their consciousness, and even Gale could not believe it. Saburo came there to inform Gale about Kenji's condition. So Gale asked him if he still had the ability to get Finn and Ian out from the other dimension. According to Saburo, he could still open the door, but he might only be able to get only one out from the other dimension. While inside, Ian released his magic weapon called the Shin sword and attacked the Yaoguai, but it was easily blocked by her. As the Yaoguai prepared to attack, Ian preceded it with another attack. The two of them fought while Finn was watching them. Gale called Ian to inform him about Kenji's condition, and Saburo said that he could only take one out from there. Because of this, Ian decided that only Finn would be taken out from this dimension. He also immediately informed Finn about this, and left his welfare to Gale. So Gale called Shiba to tell him about what Ian said. So he sent a message to Ian that he should not be in a hurry, because he would find another way. When Finn talked to Gale, she told him that they should go to the coordinates which she would give, because Saburo would try to open the door so they could get out. Ian and the phone spirit continued to exchange attacks. Ian tried to calm her down, and told her to stop sucking the energy of her viewers, because they could possibly be killed by what she was doing. But she did not want to believe him because she knew that her fans love her. So Ian used a powerful attack that caused her to fall. When she retaliated against him, Ian used the divine might of Jinwoo to prevent her from attacking. Then they quickly ran because Ian knew that she would recover immediately due to the energy which she could absorb. And Ian was right about this, because after a few minutes, she immediately gained a lot of energy which caused Finn's friends to pass out too. When they were close to the coordinates pointed out by Gale, Ian's magic weapon returned to him. Saburo started opening the door, and when they saw it, Finn immediately approached it. When Saburo was able to hold Finn, it was only here that Finn found out about Ian's plan. Ian returned to the Yaoguai woman's location to fight her again. Because Finn did not agree on what they were planning, he let go from Saburo's grip and followed Ian. While Saburo lost consciousness due to overuse of his power. Gale immediately called Shiba to inform him of what had happened. Shiba was currently looking for a Yaoguai that had the same ability as Saburo. As Gale was trying to restore Saburo's power, Suji came there. She immediately approached Finn, and when she saw his condition, she got angry at Gale and to the whole Taoist sect. Lisa also came, and told them that they could extend the time of Ian and Finn in the other dimension using the dragon tear. So they let the two swallow the dragon tears. Since Ian was using his full power, the Yaoguai woman was having a hard time fighting him. As Finn got closer to the location of the two, he was able to activate his power. When Ian attacked the Yaoguai girl to finish her off, Finn managed to block his attack. When Ian found out that Finn just blocked his attack, he immediately scolded Finn. He begged Ian if he could talk to the Yaoguai woman first. Ian agreed to what Finn wanted, then he gave the earphone to him, and Finn immediately approached the Yaoguai. Finn explained to her where she got the source of her strength, and how it affected those who supported her. Since she still did not believe him, Finn talked to Gale, so they could show the actual condition of the Yaoguai's victims. Then Finn gave her the earphone, and that was the moment when she saw those who lost consciousness after she absorbed much of their energy. This made her very sad, and it was here that she stopped absorbing the energy of the others who followed her in the app. But their problem now was how they could return to reality. Fortunately, the Yaoguai woman could still able to restore the absorbed energies to the owners. Because of this, they immediately prioritized restoring Kenji's lost energy, because he would be the one to open the door for them so they could return to reality. After a while, she also restored the energy of the other victims. Then she changed her clothes to continue her concert. Finn wanted to stop her because she already lost most of her energy, but Ian told him to let her because he also knew that she would not last long. For the last time, she could do what she wanted before she disappeared completely. On the other hand, Shiba took Kenji to take him to the location of Finn and Ian. And while they were on the way, Kenji watched the performance of the Yaoguai girl. After a few minutes of performance, she gave a final message to her fans. When Kenji came to the student council office, he immediately gave Saburo the energy he needed. As the Yaoguai woman was gradually disappearing, this was also the time when the dimension started to collapse. After a few moments, the Yaoguai woman noticed that she was going to be crushed, and fortunately, Finn was able to save her. Then Ian created a barrier with his magic weapon. Kenji also started to create the door, and when he entered it, he was surprised that the dimension was collapsing. When Ian saw this, he pulled Finn so they could get out, but Finn did not want to leave the yaoi girl alone. When Ian approached Kenji, it was here that Kenji saw the yaoi girl. Because she was already weak, Kenji got angry at them, and while Ian was explaining to him, they were struck by lightning, causing Kenji to return to the real world. Only Ian was able to get out from there, and Finn was left inside. Finn talked to the yaoi girl and told her not to give up. He encouraged her and said that they just had to hold on until they could be saved from there. But when she was about to hold Finn's hand, she suddenly disappeared. When Ian regained consciousness, he told him to save Finn. When he entered in that dimension again, he did not saw the yaoi woman. So he took Finn's hand and pulled him back to reality. Because of this, Finn got back to his real body, and Suji immediately hugged him because she was so worried about him. After a few moments, Kenji also came out and confirmed the complete disappearance of the yaoi woman. Finn noticed that something was glowing on his hand, and it turned out to be a source code or the soul of the yaoi. Suji suddenly had an idea and asked Finn if he still did not have a smartphone yet. Then she showed what Lisa had given her and shared the idea that she came up to create a physical form. She said that she just needed a little amount of energy, and Kenji immediately volunteered so the yaoi girl could be saved. After Suji poured the contents of the bottle into the source code, Finn put it in his cell phone, and Kenji immediately gave it with energy. After a few moments, it suddenly exploded, and the human form of the yaoi woman appeared in front of them. Since she had no clothes on, Gale immediately gave her a cover. Suji asked Finn why a woman came out, and not a smartphone. So Gale explained about the app called My Girlfriend where the yaoi came from. Because of this, Suji regretted and wanted to take back the energy center that they used. As she approached her, the yaoi found out that Suji was the one who provided the energy center. Because of this, she considered Suji as her mother. Ian also told the yaoi woman about Finn, who saved her soul and gave the cell phone to serve as her body. As soon as she remembered that Finn was with her inside the other dimension, she recognized him as her father, and she immediately hugged him. But after Finn explained to her that he should not be considered as her father, she just called him master. Because of this, Kenji became jealous of him. When he also noticed Kenji, she remembered that he was the first person to download her app. But when she touched him, Kenji suddenly moved away, so she thought that he was angry at her. The yaoi woman felt sad and was thinking that it was because she absorbed Kenji's energy, then she hugged Finn to cry on him. Finn's face was clearly happy as she hugged him. Kenji was so jealous of this that he was forced to leave the room. When Lisa was about to leave, she approached Ian to ask him how much the Taoist sect would pay for the dragon tears that they had used. When she came out, Ian also decided to leave after telling Gale about the damages on school equipment that Kenji and the Taoist sect would pay for. Because of this, Finn was left in this room with the three women, and when he was about to leave, the yaoi girl suddenly said that she would come with him. This was when Gale told her that she should transform into a smartphone, so that Finn could use her. And through this, she would be able to help her master a lot. She did not hesitate to follow this suggestion, and after finding out the model of cell phone that Finn wanted, she begged Finn to give her a name. Finn thought about it, and for a moment he decided to call her by the name Lynn. After that, she transformed into a smartphone. When he returned to the dorm, he found his friends crying after losing their idol in the app. While he was texting Gale, Lynn suddenly appeared, and his friends heard her, but they thought that it was just their hallucination. This is the end of the last episode of Monster List Season 2. I hope you like it, and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss newly uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.